You know what I thought looking at these videos, folks, I don't know about you, is just the security issue. I mean, they stormed Bernie Sanders' podium. Then, of course, I don't know whether Jeb Bush was able to sneak out of there, but I'm sure if I'm his security detail, I'm worried. I'm thinking, what if this happened with not a presidential candidate, but the president of the United States? Gets to be a thorny issue. Who better to talk about this than a former Secret Service agent? In fact, he was a Secret Service agent for Barack Obama, Dan Bongino. Dan, I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, wow, I can understand why when Ben Carson was here yesterday, I asked him, what would you do if in an event like that? He said, I really don't know. I guess it would depend on the security there, but it looks like the security falls apart.
Yeah, it does, Neil, and this creates a very dangerous situation. I would recommend to these candidates to be begging the Secret Service at this point for protection because they're used to handling this type of situation. You know, there are a couple of things you need here, Neil. You need time and distance. So you need distance from the stage to be able to react. And keep in mind, they're allowed to protest. They can scream whatever they want, but storming the stage or threatening the protectee is a major no-no.
But think about it. Code Pink did something very similar, almost in Henry Kissinger's face. It got, I remember John McCain very angry. This was a demonstration when I was talking to Ted Cruz. In the middle of this, Code Pink demonstrators were getting in his face. They're right next to him. They're right around him. If I'm a security guy or responsible for security or just a policeman, you know, kind of keep an eye on this, I'd get nervous, wouldn't you?
Well, no, absolutely. And you should be nervous, but it's not the Secret Service's responsibility to stop legal First Amendment protesting. We don't do that. We never did that. We're not allowed by law to do that. What they can do, however, Neil, is that distance to the protectee, getting up and close and personal, even kind of yelling a little bit in their face, as long as it's not a threat. If we can ensure that you're, quote, clean, you've been run through a magnetometer, have no metal, have no weapons, outside of, say, you know, reacting quickly if someone were to, say, grab the protectee, there's really not much the Secret Service can do. I know that's not the answer America wants to hear, that gives you a warm and fuzzy feeling. But the truth is, as long as you don't have any weapons and you don't have any history of making threats towards our protectee, there's very little we can do other than create a bit of a buffer zone around them.
You know, Dan, I'm thinking of just the volatile and angry nature of the electorate now, both on the left and the right, the resurgence of someone like a Bernie Sanders, and then all these other outside candidates who are now polling extremely well, whether it's a Carly Fiorina. You see what's going on with Donald Trump, the Ben Carson phenomenon. These kind of candidates who attract a great deal of controversy and invite a great deal of rage, people who support them who are angry, that seems like a powder keg.
Well, you would be right. The clown show in the Washington, D.C. cesspool has really engendered an anger amongst the American electorate that's really bipartisan. I have a relative who's a union member who's never voted Republican in his life, who happens to be texting me the other day was supporting Trump, which really kind of surprised me. I'd never seen that coming before. That does create a powder keg. There's no doubt about it. And the Secret Service's goal is to manage those expectations. But it's also on the host committee, too. Neil, I don't know if these host committees are aware that once they rent out the hall for the event, they own it. They can have these people taken off the stage for trespassing, but I don't know if they have the experience to do that.
They should do that. Dan, thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
Very welcome.
Scary stuff.